Hello everyone. I was tagged by Debbie from the Canadian Crocheter to do the holiday 2018 traditions tag thing. So I'm doing it. I haven't been putting out a lot of podcast content lately, being December, working in retail, doing craft shows. I have had zero time to get anything done. Today, I finally have a day off and I am deep cleaning my house so that I can get the Christmas decorations put up. So let's get right into it, and I will try and make this as quick as possible. So when do you start decorating for Christmas? This year, today. Traditionally in the house we were doing it sort of beginning of November, but my second son was born near the end of November, and I always wanted to wait until after his birthday so that his birthday continued to not be overshadowed by Christmas. So we tend to decorate right at the beginning of December, usually the first weekend in December. A little bit later this year, but hey, I work retail, so I get it done when I can. What style do I decorate in? Well, that depends on what room of the house you're in. I am that person. I do tend to have a style overall when it comes to home decor that is sort of vintagey. So my upstairs tree, yes, you're hearing about multiple trees. My upstairs tree does tend to be very vintagey. It's got my antique ornaments on it and that sort of thing. We do have a tree that we put up downstairs in the main room that's got the fireplace, the main family room, and that tree is our New Orleans tree. New Orleans is my favorite city in the entire world, so we have a tree decorations. It's all dedicated to a New Orleans theme. I hope we'll be able to do at least one podcast through December where I will be able to show some of this decor. I also have various collections that go up around the house, but I would say that as my boys have grown up and they're no longer little boys in the house, it tends to be sort of that vintagey, yeah, very vintagey, very outdoorsy, rustic type of a decor. So my favorite Christmas tradition with family, well, that has changed dramatically throughout the years, obviously, starting from when I was a child to when my children were little to now where my boys are both grown men and we don't have grandchildren yet. But I would say one of my ongoing traditions are our advent calendars. I do get an advent calendar every year still for myself. The dog also has her advent calendar this year, and my husband has his advent calendar. When the boys were little, we would do a Yule tree, and the tree had little gifts on it that were our advent gifts. So that is something that has continued from the time I've been a child. It hasn't changed, the whole opening of a door every day leading up till Christmas. Other than that, because I am, as I've said a few times now, a retail employee, and Christmas, I get Christmas Day off. That's it. Christmas is our go time. What I do book off every year is New Year's. So we celebrate New Year's here at my house. We have a big open house on New Year's where everybody is invited, and that is one of my favorite traditions because I get to host finally. Where is my favorite place to buy Christmas decor? This is going to sound silly, but at the garden center. We do buy one of our trees at the garden center every year, and they have some fabulous, fabulous decor. A lot of it is handcrafted stuff. I also pick up a lot of stuff that is handcrafted, so at craft fairs and whatnot. And finally, in junk-teak shops. I am a junk-teak shopper. I love looking for vintage finds throughout the year, and I do find holiday stuff throughout the year and pick it up. A lot of my antique glass ornaments were bought in antique and junk-teak shops. Let me see here. My favorite Christmas movie, without a doubt, is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We do watch it every year. That doesn't mean it's my only Christmas movie I watch every year, but it is the one that I must watch every year. Some of my other favorites are those really old late 60s, I believe, early 70s, could even be earlier than that. The stop motion clay stuff, and there was Rudolph, and there's the Frosty the Snowman one. I love those old ones. I believe they were narrated by Burl Ives. But yeah, I love those really old, see again with the vintagey type Christmas movies. Eggnog, hot cocoa, or apple cider? Well, on a day-to-day basis, if I had to choose between the three, it would probably be the hot chocolate, the hot cocoa. Usually half coffee, half hot chocolate because, yeah, can't go without my coffee. However, eggnog, let's talk eggnog. I have the most amazing eggnog recipe. I make my eggnog from scratch every year for my New Year's celebration. It is traditional with raw eggs, so yeah, I know, there's going to be people out there who are disgusted with the raw egg thing, but hey, we do it every year. And there is enough alcohol in this eggnog to knock you on your butt. I love my eggnog. Not necessarily the store-bought stuff, although I do buy that to use as coffee creamer. But when it comes to drinking straight eggnog, it has to be homemade. And then it is absolutely amazing. Do I leave cookies out for Santa, and if so, what kind? We did when my boys were little, and it was always whatever kind we had made, because we always, well, I always did a lot of baking with the kids when they were little, in the time leading up to Christmas. Again, now that I work in retail, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. But yeah, it was whatever we had baked, and that was what would go on the tray. But there was also stuff for the reindeer, so there was always carrots left out for Rudolph. And we would make reindeer food that the boys would sprinkle out in the front yard. So usually it was just rolled oats, dry rolled oats with some glitter in it, and they would sprinkle that out in the front yard so that the reindeer would know which house to come to. Real or artificial tree? Again, it depends on what level of the house you're on. Because I have many trees. Most of my trees are artificial. My one upstairs with the antique ornaments is an artificial tree, as are most of the small trees that get placed around the house. The tree that goes downstairs, my New Orleans tree, it is a real tree. We get that every year. It is the last holiday decoration to go up because it is real, so it doesn't last as long. And I need it to last through New Year's because that's when I host my New Year's celebration. So we usually go and get our real tree about a week and a half before Christmas, and that's when the final tree gets set up. Favorite holiday dessert? I really don't have a holiday dessert that is specific to Christmas that traditionally we always have. Although the past couple of years I have been making a traditional German fruit bread. It's not like that heavy fruit cake, but it is a fruit bread and it's called Stollen, and it is amazingly good. So I would have to say that and pecan pie are probably my two favorite desserts all the time. So at Christmas, also my favorite dessert. Favorite Christmas cookie, hands down without a doubt, gingerbread. I love gingerbread cookies, I love ginger snaps, I love real gingerbread, so it's like a loaf with big chunks of ginger in it. I love ginger, so gingerbread cookies are my favorite. Do we open gifts on Christmas Eve? We do. When the boys were little, we always opened one gift on Christmas Eve, and surprisingly enough, it was always a brand new set of pajamas. You know, thinking ahead to the pictures the next morning. Now we get together with my husband's family on Christmas Eve, and we have our celebration with them on Christmas Eve. So we open our gifts and the kids open their gifts for each other on Christmas Eve. And then in the Christmas Day, we open gifts with my side of the family. Do you decorate your tree yourself? I decorate all of the trees myself. I never used to. When the boys were little, of course, they would always help me, but now I do it myself. My husband is in charge of outdoor decorations. I'm in charge of indoor decorations. Where do we spend Christmas Day? We start out at home, usually until we have grandchildren, and then it might change. But for now, my youngest son still lives at home. My oldest son and his wife usually come to our house on Christmas morning bright and early, as do my mom and dad, and we open up presents. Then everybody sort of goes their own way, and later on in the afternoon we head over to my sister's house, and she hosts the big family get-together at her house on Christmas Day. My favorite Christmas smell, I would have to say it is the smell of pomanders. So I normally at Christmas have made pomanders with oranges, and you stick the cloves in them and put them up around the house, and they smell amazing. But last year I also did a Christmas simmer pot. It's just a pot of water on the stove that you can put in. I put in apples and cinnamon and cranberries and cloves, and you just boil it at a slow simmer all day, and it just fills the house with the most amazing smells. If you've never done it, try it. It's amazing. What is my favorite thing to craft or make during the holidays? I have been so busy crafting for the 3 craft fairs that I did this year and my commissions, and wow, I used to do a lot of baking, and I still do, but it's usually after Christmas. When the boys were little, we did a bazillion crafts all the time. So, you know, crocheting stuff during Christmas is just a natural for me. And I do a Christmas Eve cast on. Last year it was socks, and this year, I don't know, we'll have to see. So who am I going to tag? Well, most everybody's already done this because, like usual, I'm late to the party, but there are a few people I haven't seen yet. So I tag Lee from Totally Net. I tag Clarissabeth from Crochet Cakes. I tag Caroline from Mind and Muse Crochet. I tag Claudia from Crochet Luna. And finally, I tag Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet. And anybody else who hasn't been tagged or has been tagged and is procrastinating like I did, consider yourself tagged. You're it. Go. Happy holidays, everyone. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope it goes amazingly well. I do hope to get a full-length podcast in before Christmas, but if not, there will be one after Christmas. I do apologize. It is just a crazy time of year. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, come join us, and I will see you next time. Bye.